Today, I'm going to talk about data sharing with trust. There's when you look at what business is saying, when you look at what the policymakers are saying, we can see a clear growing demand for data, and this poses a question: how to meet this demand? And I think. Well, the first look should be at responsible data governance throughout the data ecosystem. This, I think, could be achieved by just having a regulatory framework to facilitate data sharing and at the same time safeguarding rights and interests. And not just the right to data protection or right to privacy, but also business interests, such as intellectual property rights, trade secrets, and of course, we have national security also that we should think about. And regulatory framework is only part of the picture, because we have to use data responsibly also. So looking at what demand can be expressed through potential economic and social benefits, such as contributing to greater efficiency, transparency, and accountability across society, providing support to address societal challenges, boosting growth, and enhancing social welfare and well-being, improving evidence-based policy making, empowering users of digital goods and services, including enterprises, workers, so across the board. Also facilitating scientific research to help us improve our societies. According to Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, these are rough estimates, but data access and sharing can increase the value of data holders, helping create 10 to 20 times more value for data users, and to 20 to 50 times more value for wider economy. And as you can see, potential benefits are immense if they are achieved correctly. And I think looking at a broader international stage, at European Union level, at policy developments at national level, we can see clear trends towards enhancing sharing of data nationally and globally. So we had the G20 Osaka declaration, G7 Germany Digital Ministers declarations, EU Digital Strategy, our own government program. Trend is clear here. So we need then to ask how to do responsible data governance. So I think a good example of this, of how to facilitate data sharing as well as responsible data governance is work done at OECD. And one of their recommendations says that encouraging data access and sharing should be done from the perspective of data are as open as possible and as closed as necessary. Yes. And this means that different data sharing arrangements could mean different openness of data because of because of data categories are more sensitive, or just different business models or different policy making and legislation that applies to it, to society. And we have some examples of how to facilitate data sharing and how it is facilitated through regulatory framework. First and foremost, Digital Markets Act. It's not entirely for data sharing because it's from competition perspective, but we have some mechanisms for data sharing for personal data. An example is consent, or if personal data is not needed, then anonymized data. Data Governance Act, which is entirely for data sharing. You see that it has anonymization, pseudonymization, or accessing data in secure processing environments that are supervised by the public sector, confidentiality agreements. Then there is data intermediaries, data altruism. Also, we not only have adopted legislation, but there is upcoming legislation, such as Data Act, which is debated fiercely, quite fiercely, and but it's more ambiguous from the perspective of data sharing, because it just says that you have to have a legal basis under GDPR. There are some suggestions that it's consent or a legitimate interest. Also, we have moves on European health data space, which is for facilitating secondary access or reuse of health data only for specific purposes, having data permits, also closed and secure environments, and only an anonymized data can be downloaded. And European level is one thing, but we have national level. And on national level, we have law on official statistics and state data governance. The safeguards are there. Also, specific purposes, purpose limitation, yes, legal basis under GDPR, which is not, the law is not a legal basis for data sharing, but it's more for facilitation of data sharing. And we have law on reuse of health data, also specific framework permits, specific purposes, anonymized and or pseudonymized data, closed and secure environment. So you can see that different legal acts adopted or upcoming go from a little bit different perspective from data that would be processed. And legislation is only part of the picture, as I said before. Application is another. And here we have some caveats because application is both from the perspective of data holder and data recipient. So data holder, I mean, like if the framework is based on permits, then data holder will be some government agency which will look at the applications for the permit, try to understand what data is needed, and so on and so forth. But at the center of the things is always accountability. And this is all known. Yes, GDPR 5 years now, and accountability, which then transposes to transparency and fairness, because we need to show people, not only business understands that its needs, but also data subjects should understand why business needs it, and what can data subject get from that. And of course, we have to think about organizational measures, technical measures, which is another topic, and DPAA, of course, if needed. Also specific legal requirements, because different data framework, data sharing framework will have, and we can see it, different legal requirements. Some prohibition of re-identification, and if that happens, you have to let it be known to competent authority, contractual obligations, and so on and so forth. So on the end note, I think data sharing is a clear trend, and data protection authorities also see that. And our job is to safeguard also the data subject, but at the same time to facilitate that data sharing, because you cannot live in a vacuum, yes? And this is the end goal, probably, to facilitate data sharing. Thank you.